Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Thursday, extended interview.
Had a very cool opportunity to speak with the frontman for an amazing Canadian band that's been with us for decades and is putting out new music, visiting us in just days' time. Now, unfortunately, during the phone call with Trevor Hurst, the sound was compromised a little, and we've tried to filter and clean up as much as possible, but bear with me. So I'm chatting with Trevor Hurst with Econoline Crush on the phone right now. You're going to be paying us a visit very soon, but to start off, can you tell me a little bit about where you're at right now? I mean, how's your day? How are you feeling about the tour that just got started at the beginning of the month?
Very excited about this tour. We played in Vancouver. Rick Joanne full up and bowling briefly and a really, really good show. So I do a bit of, I have an interesting life right now. I went back a number of years ago. I went back to school at the university and got a degree in science, a Bachelor of Science in Psychiatric Nursing. So I am currently working at Sioux Valley Dakota Nation, just outside of Brandon, Manitoba. And that's what I do when I'm not rocking free wheels.
Yeah, that's, very cool and a very interesting vocation coming from a place of wanting to take care of people. But a very interesting sort of double life that you live, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's interesting because there's not a lot of, when it comes to psychiatric issues and stuff, I was very familiar with them because I was in the music business.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of the music, new single just came out very, very recently. The new Gold Magic tour kicked off, like you said, at home in Vancouver earlier. What is touring like for the band or preparing for performances in 2025 when you're not dealing with your second life?
Well, it's really, a lot of logistics and planning and getting, how do you get everybody together to rehearse, get everything. If I'm living in Manitoba, the band is, they got the drummers in Edmonton, two guys in Vancouver. And so it's a lot of a little bit more prep than back in the day. You physically fit for the rock because it's pretty demand. That's what it's like now for us. It's a little bit more prep.
I feel like that is something that people who aren't living the rock star life can still relate to. It takes a little bit of extra effort to get back to fighting weight sometimes as you get a little older as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tour, the current tour, of course, sharing the name with this brand new single, I gave it a listen to love it. It's got an industrial, defiant vibe, and I was curious, what was the genesis for the song? I learned that there was a producer you had in mind you wanted to work with, Kane Churko. So tell us about that.
Well, it's wild because his dad, okay, so his family is a musical family cult. Kevin produces Ozzy, produced Five Finger Death Punch, and then Kane, Kevin's son, has been producing bands like Papa Roach and In This Moment, and he's very, very talented, and I'd been following him on social media, and I was like, man, I really want to work with this guy. The opportunity came up last year, and I jumped out. And we did 3 songs, so 2 of them we finished, and New Gold was one of them. Something about the song, it just felt really kind of naughty, or kind of had this defiant vibe to it. And the phrase "New Gold Magic" came to him. I thought, that's kind of silly, weird. But then I started thinking, no, that's like when you're feeling it, when you're in the top of your game, you're feeling pretty golden, you're feeling pretty special. And when you get it again, which is how we felt in the last year, fighting spirit that we had when we first started. So that's kind of the name, how it came with that title and that song.
The band, Econoline Crush, has been one that's been forever evolving and changing. Do you feel like the song is a change of direction or more to what you said? Is it a return or a reinterpretation of some of the sounds from the established lore for the band?
It is kind of cool because it is kind of a reinvention in a way, a different kind of approach. There's a lot more production than we normally use, I think. And so I really like it, and I think it's a cool evolution, just learn more skills, become better songwriters.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm chatting with Trevor Hurst with Econoline Crush right now. We were so grateful to have you visit us earlier in the summer for Hello Summerfest, and I wanted to know, how was that visit, and was that the spark for booking a full concert set at Keanu Theatre later in the same year, or is this weekend's show, was that already in the works?
I think it was a little bit in the works, but I don't know if it was completed yet. So I think it helped plan that show, and it was also a day of rock and roll. I mean, holy cow, what a lineup! It was amazing.
We were just reveling. We don't often get that much of a jam-packed show of greats back, one after the other. And so we were eating it up that weekend, and so glad to, see that you guys were able to announce that you guys were going to be coming back. A bit of a more dedicated set for you guys. What makes this coming show different than your visit in the summer, and what can fans look forward to?
Dude, the first we're doing is acoustic, for break down some of the songs and just giving you a different look. And then we come back, take an intermission, and we come back, and the second set is a full dope rock set. And we're adding some stuff that we haven't played before, and some old ones from previous records that we played before but haven't played in a while. So it's a bit of a different act. And I think it's kind of a cool thing to be able to see the band in sort of a rehearsal acoustic vibe. Maybe some stuff in the songs that you didn't before because it's broken down to the acoustic vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you get a chance to get sort of two sides of the same coin in one show. Often it's either stripped down, acoustic, more intimate, and then otherwise, loud, electric, in your face. So we're getting both. That's cool.
Yeah. And I think it's a good idea. And we were talking with our friends in Finger 11. They'd gone out and done a similar thing, and kind of said, we should try that. And so we pitched it, and away we go.
Well, looking back at the legacy of the band, from early 90s all the way to now, what are you and what is the band most proud of along the road, do you think? That's probably a big question.
Yeah, it is a big question. But I think like sustainability, the fact that we're still here is a big deal to me personally. I remember we faced a lot of criticism for the style of music that we made using programming with rock frowned upon. They didn't like the teeth. It's great that our sound was sound that kind of was able to, hang on, to give us a chance to have a kind of legacy career. I'm really proud that our songs have affected so many lives and people see it so positively.
Yeah. We are, kind of a northern isolated community. We eat up the live music that comes to visit us that we do get. And I always see that there's an influence when we get a live act coming to town. There's always sort of a ripple effect and an inspiration to younger and emerging musicians. From your experience with Econoline Crush, do you have any advice for emerging musicians or creatives in an industrial, practical town like we're in?
Well, I'll tell you, because of all that intense criticism we faced, we didn't band. So if you're making music, you're a young artist, no matter what kind of music, blues, bluegrass, or whatever, doesn't matter. Just make the music you. Don't make it for the audience. Make it for yourself. There is nobody like the combination of individuals in your band. Nobody can come up with that. It's unique. Believe in it. Really believe in yourself. And there's a lot of critics out there, but it takes a lot of guts to write a song and put it out there and have people comment on it. But just know that the success was actually just writing and creating. So make the best music you can.
Sound advice, very, very wise. And yeah, better to create and express what you want to and then find the audience than try to just drum up the audience and not really make anything of any substance in the first place.
Yeah, send a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy.
Yeah, right, yeah, and you know what that turns into. It's just a smudge.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So talking with Trevor Hurst with the Econoline Crush, thank you so much for taking the time. This is a thrill for me, and I know it's going to be a great show on Saturday at Keano Theatre. There's an incredible sound system in there. Is there anything you'd like to say for fans ahead of the visit in just a couple days' time?
Please come down, check out, and support the live music. And our first time doing acoustic show like the rock set afterwards. It's a very special thing. So, it's a unique opportunity to see the band kind of in its raw like before, and then full tilt rocks, all the lights and bells and whistles.
So cool. Yeah. And I mean, another treat too is that we're early on the list. We're number 2 on the tour.
Yeah, so you get it before we're fresh, before we're beaten down.
Yeah, right. Before the road has taken its chunk. Yeah.
Yeah, taking its toll. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, for the very best for this show coming up, and a lively crowd for you. Thanks once again, and also for the rest of the tour, of course.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Friday.
This early morning brain was not ready to contemplate the fact that Iceland doesn't have mosquitoes. Apparently, there, until very recently and record-breaking high temperatures, has been only 2 land masses in the world that mosquitoes are not present in. They have not established a population. One would be Antarctica, and the other has been Iceland. It no longer, apparently. They discovered specifically 2 females, 1 male, over the course of a couple of nights. I know that doesn't seem like much, but that's just evidence of more and the ability to make more right there, and specifically a species of mosquito that can survive winters. Oh, great. Thanks. They can get a foothold there. Fantastic for the people. But I have to imagine this is going to be a change in culture if this actually happens. If mosquitoes become populous over in Iceland, those poor people who have never had to encounter that through the warmer months are going to be driven absolutely insane. They're not going to know what to do with the itch. They're not going to know what to do with the sound. What a bizarre scenario to even contemplate, because the rest of the world very much used to mosquitoes. They're ever present, and they're one of the most deadly creatures on the planet as far as being directly involved in human fatalities. Wild. I'm so sorry for Iceland and any people who hail from there. It's a dark day. The Blue Jays, yes, they begin the World Series at home tonight. Game at 6 p.m. Going nuts over in Toronto. The whole city is blue and white. Canada buzzing about the Blue Jays' return to the World Series after more than 30 years. It's going to be a very, very cool night. And an interesting factoid is that they're going to be giving the ball to rookie Troy Savage to open up, the second youngest pitcher ever starting a Fall Classic opener for Game 1 today. Almost a total record. And other incredible feats to be seen throughout the game. But the Blue Jays themselves, the team, the organization, they're hyping up fans with help from the Toronto Symphony Orchestra with a new video. We're excited, but it's kind of funny that they posted that video we've shared now on our social media at midnight Toronto time last night. Like, very start of the day. Sure, technically is game day, but instead of, maybe staggering it into the morning a little bit, because that video arrived at 10 p.m. last night for Alberta. Game day for the World Series. The Fall Classic is going to be beginning at about 6 o'clock today with Toronto hosting the Dodgers. The difference in World Series tickets to watch the Blue Jays between 1993 and now is staggering. Somebody else did the math. We have them to thank. Then, nosebleeds, $32. Like some of the cheapest seats that you could have gotten back in 1993, $32. Now that's like the cost of a beer. Now, nosebleeds, $495. And it should be noted that some premium seats are asking more than $12,000 for the resale, while the venue, Rogers Centre, has diminished the total number of seats by about 10,000 due to renovations and changes since 1993. People saying, well, maybe that's why it costs so much more. No. They've also since added standing room only tickets, and those general admission tickets that were sold for Game 1 of the World Series was sold out instantly at a price of about $345 or so. Just, try not to smear your hot dog toppings all over the next guy while you're in there.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
Got to be some sort of money in it, or else they wouldn't be doing it. A criminal ring has been thwarted in Spain after stealing tons of chairs from patios. That's it, chair thieves. Trying to steal your seat. And to the tune of like 60,000 euros worth of stolen property between August and September in Madrid and surrounding areas. That works out to about 69,000 US dollars. And nice. But not so nice for the people that have, of course, been victimized, that they have had these chairs stolen. Normally, even if they're left out on the patio overnight, these kind of things, you see it. They're stacked, they're chained up so that people just can't yank them. But I guess opportunity strikes and a chain can be cut, and just dozens and dozens of chairs have been stolen by a whole group of people. Like 6 or 7 different individuals have been arrested for this. They were reselling them all across Spain, but also in Morocco and as far as Romania. Absolutely wild. Just figure out your chair situation without being a criminal, I figure.
Please, take a chair.
No, thank you. I have plenty of chairs at home.
It's time for Cruise Music News with Steve Reeve.
Bruce Springsteen isn't just the subject of a biopic that is releasing in theaters across the world today. That would be the Deliver Me From Nowhere biopic. I was going to say documentary. Starring Jerry Lee Allen White. It's not a documentary, but still. Bruce Springsteen in the real world is also endorsing the No Kings movement in the United States amidst absolutely staggering protests against the presidency and the things that are happening there. He says all hell is breaking loose in the United States. Of course, this is continuing a long-running public feud with the president of the country. They've definitely had some issues in recent months. Spinal Tap, we're not done with them yet, even though we did get a 40-year sequel that released just last month. They've actually announced plans for a concert movie called Stonehenge, the final finale, which is such a hilarious Spinal Tap title, but an actual concert film that was filmed already and is gonna hit cinemas next year. It includes the likes of Eric Clapton, Josh Groban, Shania Twain. They've just put out a teaser as well with a ton of help from a large group of people and a larger prop of Stonehenge than they had in the original film. Got to make sure you clarify between inches and feet. But of course, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, is available for people who did not catch it when it first released last month. And we released some sad news yesterday with David Ball passing away. Of course, he was an electronic music pioneer, a member of Soft Cell, and he actually was working on the latest and upcoming Soft Cell album. They were even already billing it as the final album called Danceteria, but he finished it, apparently. According to Mark Almond, frontman for the band, the work on the production was completed only days ago before David Ball died. And unfortunately, we're not aware of any cause of death. Not known just yet. That's it for your music news this morning. I'm Steve Reeve. There's some shaking up going on with the relationship, the trade agreements between the United States and Canada, thanks to an ad that was taken out, that was made by the government of Ontario, which is a province that has been particularly hard hit by tariff rules imposed down south in the United States. It features a conservative presidential icon, Mr. Ronald Reagan, talking about tariffs way back in 1987.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
And I guess Trump does not like this very much, now saying that our trade agreements are terminated. Well, just like Ronald Reagan was trying to explain in that, it's one thing to be trying to be patriotic and in defense of the people of your country and their livelihood and their day-to-day quality of life. But it's another to just run things like you're a kid in a sandbox and just get upset at the drop of a hat.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.